All right, friends. Well, back behind me down there, that's the one, the only, the infamous Heartlake here in southern Yellowstone. Did a quick backpacking trip out here, came down, camped in these trees last night right here on the shores of Heartlake, and this morning decided to take a trip up to the summit of Mount Sheridan. That's right, 10,305 feet here in the Yellowstone Summit Series, looking out over the northern section of the park. All that good stuff. Shoshone Lake right there, Yellowstone Lake right here. We've got Electric Peak still taunting me way back there. You can barely make it out. But we're just enjoying life on the summit here this morning. It is spectacular out here despite some overcast skies. Another stellar day in Yellowstone, y'all. All right, friends, well, welcome back to Park Junkie. Todd C. out here today in, of course, Yellowstone National Park for another adventure. Today, I'm going to strap on this right there, this ridiculously heavy backpack, and I'm going to trudge out to Heartlake, which is one of the premier backcountry camping spots here in Yellowstone. Going to spend the night there, and then hopefully tomorrow morning wake up early, bright and early, bushy-tailed, and head right up Mount Sheridan for a little summit there shortly after the sunrise. Then we'll come back down, grab the pack again, and head back out here into civilization. So let's get on the road. Let's get on the trail while the sun is high in the sky, and we'll get out and set up camp here. Let's go. Heartlake trailhead, and it tells me that the lake is 7.5 miles out. The summit of Sheridan is 11.5 miles out. And my camp is AH5, which looks to be about, probably about a half a mile from the junction with the lake. So we got about 8 miles to go. So let's hit the trail right here. 7.4 miles, what the sign says. Look at that. That one said 7.5. This one says 7.4. So we've already gone 1/10 of a mile, just like that. It's pretty good. All right, well, it's been a little while since I've had the big pack on, and got a few little kinks to work out. A few straps were twisted and whatnot, but overall feels pretty comfortable back there. I don't know how much weight's on there. I'd assume I'm somewhere in the 40-pound range, but then again, I don't know. It's all about keeping the weight on your hips, you know what I mean, rather than trying to have all the weight up here behind your head. Any of your heavy, bulky stuff you kind of want down on the bottom of the pack. Let the weight ride on the hips. It's funny, that sensation you get when you take your heavy pack off after a few miles. It feels like you're kind of floating for a few seconds as you walk around wherever your break time or your camp setup is when you take that pack off. It's amazing how that feels. So it turns out that Heartlake's one of the more popular spots to come out and do a little backcountry camping. I think something like, I read that about 40% of backcountry reservations are set up out here in the Heartlake area. Quite a number of camps right along the lake there, and it puts you in a prime position to be able to summit Sheridan from the camp there. It's roughly 4 miles to the summit. That means tomorrow's going to be a big day if I summit in the morning and then head out of here, which I've only got to camp for one night. So that's what we're going to have to do. It's going to be 8 miles to the summit and back to camp, and then another 8 miles out of there. So 16-miler tomorrow with the pack. Yeah, I thought that was a elk or something. Turns out it's just a stump. Good. All right, we put in 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles this far, I'd say. Probably more like 1.5 miles. Trail's pretty flat, just kind of rolls along. Not a lot of elevation change, maybe 50, 60 feet of elevation change total at this point as we cruise along. It's not a lot. It's rolling through this old forest, mostly forested. A couple of small little openings. The trail's absolutely beautiful though. As you can see, you're just going down through this corridor of tall trees. It's a spectacular scene. And I think it's probably going to stay quite a bit, you know, similar to this the whole way out to Heartlake. And then I'm really looking forward to getting out there. That's gonna be cool. I always look forward to getting to camp earlier and just setting it up and just chilling right there, watching the evening unfold from camp or from some little perch right near camp. I always love that. It's really cool. It's kind of the highlight of staying out. Just little areas like this all along the trail through here. It's just gorgeous. Little wetlands. Coming up on a view of the lake here. It looks like this is great. I like this. Looky out there. Yes, indeed, we are making progress. Oh, we've got a little thermal feature down here as well. The Heartlake thermal area here. Yeah, Mount Sheridan behind this. This is a pretty cool scene out here. Look at that. Witch Creek running down here, my map tells me. Doesn't give me a name of these hot springs. Apparently there's several of them littered right down the trail as we descend into Heartlake here. Heartlake Hot Springs, I don't know. Factory Hill right here, behind that, Mount Sheridan. And that's what we'll be going for first thing in the morning. But here we head down toward Heartlake. We'll set up camp and just chill for the evening right there. Look at that water flowing out of there. That is gorgeous. Just flowing right on down toward Heartlake, which is right out there. All right, we stopped at this pool, which is right off the side of the trail here, going down to Heartlake. And I don't know what's in here. I don't know what these little things are. I don't know if they're sticks, stones, or bones, but they're definitely wild. I don't know. I think some of them are sticks, but some of them look like they might actually be bones. Maybe a bison or some creature accidentally made their way into this and boiled to death. I'm not sure, but boy, they look like bones. This is Witch Creek, and you can hear it flowing. We're gonna cross it on that little bridge right here in just a moment. So maybe it's the witch's doing. I'm really hoping to meet a witch out here. This is Witch Creek. But it doesn't look like we've got far to go to get to the lake. I mean, it's just right up here. I can see it through the trail right ahead. You see that? Boom, Heartlake right there. Well, right behind me here, that's Mount Sheridan, and we're gonna be camping right over here. You can see the lake through the trees here. That's where camp will be tonight. All right, here we come upon the Heartlake Ranger Station here. Lockdown, nobody home at this one. We do have the snow shovel on the wall over there, the coal shovel, whatever you wanna actually be shoveling with it, it would probably work. Heartlake, my friends. Ooh, wee, Heartlake, Mount Sheridan, look at that. All right, we are pulling into camp here, 8H5. But let's go down here and see what our living room looks like for this evening. I wonder what the back patio looks like. It's promising. I see a lot of light coming through down here. Here we are. Looks like it's right here, close enough to the lake. We can deal with this. Pretty nice. Home sweet home, Mr. L. All right, man. Well, I just went down and dipped my head in the water. Washed my feet off, pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get camp set up right here, and then we'll work on chilling out for a little bit. But I'm gonna get a nice flat spot there for the tent, and we'll go ahead and bust that out, get everything ready, get the living room and the bedroom all dialed in, and then I can just chill right on the beach. All right, so I've got camp sort of set up here. I've got the tent with the cot laid out in it and my little sleeping bag on that. I got my chair set up. I'm gonna set the food. I'm gonna hang the food in a tree back there about 50 yards away from the tent. There is a pile of bear scat back here right in, I mean, it's seriously right in the trail coming to the tent. You might be able to see it in the trail right about there. Yeah, that's bear shit. And that's 20 feet from the tent here. It is what it is, you know. These creatures roll through here, there's no doubt about it. So we'll just have that in our mind and keep a close lookout for our clawed associates out here. But I did bring the bug spray this evening, a little DEET, the 40% DEET spray. Not proud of it, but hey, when you're staying out here, all right, you know, if I'm just cruising through the woods and I'm on the move, I can go without bug spray, and I bitch about it, but it is what it is. But if I'm going to be staying out here and I'm going to be just sitting out in the evening and enjoying myself and not absolutely hating the world, tucked in my tent, hiding from everything in sight, I'm going to use DEET, I guess. So, all right, it is what it is. It's time to chill, friends. It's time to chill. All right, well, I forgot to bring my French press, so I'll be making coffee the old school way. Just put the coffee in here and pour it through. Yeah. Always the winner. Always a winner right here. Just like that, dinner of kings. So as I'm winding down with dinner here, now it's time to figure out where to put my food for the night, because this is bear country. You don't put food in your tent overnight or during the day. You leave the food outside the tent. You don't want anything in the tent that has any sort of smell on it. So my tent, so I cooked right here. My tent is located down by the lake, probably about 30 yards away. And you'll see back here, this post that's mounted between these two trees, probably about 30 feet off the ground. We'll throw a rope over, tie our food to it, pull it up, and secure it to a tree. And that's how we effectively secure our food from any bear or animals that may wish to get into our food, because we don't want them associating this area with food. We don't want them associating us with food. So let's put our food away now. All right, so there it is right there. The food strung over the pole and tied to a tree right here. So that's how you effectively secure your food from any sort of animal like a bear in the campsite here when you don't have the bear boxes. I must admit that I'm enjoying the evening out here on the lake despite the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes buzzing around, and I rarely do this, but I did pull out the DEET today and give myself the old spray down there. And anytime I'm staying out in the wilderness, it's probably best to just go ahead and succumb to the better living through chemistry rule and just slap some DEET on, because otherwise, man, you're gonna be holed up in your tent out here. There's just no way to make it through the evening without that. So I do usually avoid the bug spray, because that DEET is nasty stuff. I used to work a maintenance gig down in the Everglades back in the day, and I would slather myself in like a 98% DEET, and no bugs ever touched me. But I had a new one of those Timex Ironman like watches, like the triathlon watches or whatever. And I just got it, and within a month it had the face had bubbled up to the point where I could not read the numbers on there. So I couldn't tell you what time it was from the watch, because the face, the plastic face over the numbers had bubbled up to the point where you just couldn't even read it. It was all because of the DEET. So I just at that point stopped using it on the regular basis, and I haven't really used it much at all. I use it when I go camping like this. But if I'm just going to rush straight through the woods, I really don't use it because it's annoying. But overall, I just would rather not slather myself with that stuff. So, yeah, I know a number of you have mentioned in the comments that there's this stuff out there called bug spray with DEET. And, yeah, I'm familiar with it. I've just seen it do some nasty stuff. And I'd rather not put it on my skin. But if I have to make it through the evening, better living through chemistry. Sure. Just woke up here. Actually, I've been waking up for a while. Overcast conditions out there. Just not the kind of morning that makes you motivated, you know. Just looking for a nice, brilliant sunrise. Head up the mountain here, up Mount Sheridan, but it's just not turning out that way. Pretty overcast. Just kind of blah. Had some rain early. Looks like a little wind last night. My chair's blown over. So, I don't know. Jump out here, see what it looks like. And get some coffee going maybe. A little food. And then take a look at heading up the mountain here. All right. It's about 8:30, 8:35. We're going to take off out of camp here. Got my coffee. Got a couple of snacks in the bag. Had a little breakfast. Breakfast is the same thing I have for dinner. Yeah, overcast skies. Shouldn't be too hot. And course, I'll save money on sunscreen. Doesn't look like 3,000 feet. As we ascend up to this ridge, you see that the peak is slowly gathering clouds. So we'll see how that works up there by the time we make our way up the mountain. Ever upward. Ever upward. You know. Up. 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 All right, making our way up the trail, heart shape taking place, and a few other landmarks coming into view as well about this time. Right back in here, you can see the ridgeline of the Absaroka Mountains with Avalanche, Langford, First Peoples, Stevenson, those mountains running right down through here. And I believe we can make out Cody Peak out here. I'm not sure though, because it seems odd that that should be so prominent from here, but that very well could be it. I think it is. Out to the north, you can see little slivers of Yellowstone Lake starting to come into view, and off in the distance there, you can surely make out little highlights of the Gallatin Range with Mount Holmes and Electric Peak capping that north end up there from what we can see. A huge reservoir of wilderness out here in the upper Yellowstone ecosystem. As we move upward, the vegetation thinning out here. This is a tough world for any sort of life form to remain here and to thrive here. You're in a tough zone right here, kids. You can see these young trees working it out, but the old trees have all taken a beating all along this ridgeline. Skeletons of yesteryear. Cool. We're here. This is the summit. Mount Sheridan. 10,305 feet. Always good to explore around as we find that there is a nice picnic table over here on top of Mount Sheridan. Not the best view, but it is a nice little spot for a picnic. But here, my friends, the one, the only Heartlake here in southern Yellowstone. Just look at that, huh? Did you just look at that? Trail running all the way around it there. Big country, big country. And moving back to the north, you'll see Yellowstone Lake, and here, of course, our little humble little patrol cabin. All right, friends. Well, that's going to about do it from here at Heartlake. We're going to have to head down, go back to camp, pack up, and move out back to the roadway, get to Frankie, fire the truck up, and head back to civilization here in the middle of nowhere. All right, we'll say goodbye to Heartlake for a bit, because here we drop down and we go over to the west side of this ridge line, and we'll shimmy, shimmy, shawl, shimmy, shay around that way. Woo! Little flower everywhere here. These Yellowstone hikes these days, littered with flowers. So if you're into flowers and stuff like that, yeah, this place is all right. All right, friends, you can see we're making our way back down here toward Heartlake, the campsite right below us here. Just trying to get down here in an hour, and it looks like I'm going to come up probably maybe an hour and 10. That's what it's going to take down. So 220 up and an hour and 10 down, with a good hour just chilling up top. All right, well, back down at camp. I've got the food bag and the pack out, getting ready to pack it up. I'm going to tear the tent down and take off and head back inland. But first of all, the sun's coming out. It might be time to get a nice dip in the water out here. So let's take advantage of that while we can. And then we'll get all torn down here and ready to roll. Well, that was a pretty cool little dip right there. Just had to jump in the water before I took off and got out of here. Just such nice clear water. You can see there's moss like growing out here. I don't know if that green shows up on camera, but man, it's super nice. Nice campsites out here at Heartlake. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're tucked back here in the trees with a great view of the lake, and nothing beats lakefront property, right? So if you can have it for a night, take it. Cool. Well, that's it. We got camp. We got camp packed up, all put in the bag there, and it's time to roll. I hear some thunder out there to the west, and that's the direction we're going, back toward the trailhead. We might get our feathers wet, kids, but that's all right. Got a raincoat in here. We'll cruise on. Let's go. All right, here coming up on the sign telling us that we're departing Heartlake. My heart's a breaking. Right there it is. Our campsite over in those trees right across the way. And of course, that summit. We were there 2.5 hours ago. Thunder rolling out here to the north. I'm gonna have to just click out the miles here, probably like 3 to 4 miles to go still. I don't really know. Well, it has started to rain a little more. I'm gonna keep cruising for the moment, and if it gets to be bad, I'll stop and put on my raincoat. But not that worried about it right now because I'm headed back to a dry truck for one thing. If I were going in the other direction, I might be a little more concerned about staying dry, but in this condition where I'm going back to the truck here in 1.5 miles or 2 miles, not all that worried about it. Although, you know, it is nice to stay dry. That's always a benefit. Yep, got thunder out there. And with thunder comes rain. Sometimes. Today that's proven to be the case. And we're just cruising through these little forested meadows, heading back to Frankie and a dry, warm home back at the Park Junkie map room. Oh man. Putting in some miles today, feet starting to feel it, shoulders feeling it with the heavy pack. There's no doubt about that. Could be nice to take this thing off, you know what I mean? I think I'm just pushing it all the way. I'm not even gonna take it off once on the return. I'll just knock out the 8 miles and just take it off when I get back to the truck and float around in the parking lot for a minute. I can hear traffic on the highway ahead. The south entrance road here. We are moving back rapidly toward the civilized Yellowstone out here, where we'll jump in our vehicle and head back northbound toward the old Park Junkie map room, where I will immediately kick back, relax, enjoy the good life, and start looking at the map, dreaming of my next little adventure. We'll see what's out there. This was a great run out to Heartlake and up Mount Sheridan. I've been wanting to tick this one off the checklist for a minute. I've had it on my have my eye on this since I got here, and I had the opportunity to shoot out here, and I did it. No regrets there. Beautiful trip all the way around. Got a couple other projects here in the park I'm working on. And then, my friends, who knows what's next? We're gonna have to jump out on the highway this fall and hit some parks. But for right now, Yellowstone, I need to get down into the Grand Teton too, because I have a number of fabulous hikes down there that I love to do, and a couple of summits I'm looking at as well. So stay tuned here at Park Junkie. Thanks for joining me for another adventure. If you're coming to Yellowstone or any of the other national parks, check me out at parkjunkie.com. It's your fix for national park info. And stay tuned for developments on Park Junkie. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in. As always, my friends, cheers.